Jared Verse is a Los Angeles Ram. We're going to get into exactly what he brings to the table, his strengths, his weaknesses, my overall grade on him. And let's dive into it. So the Rams drafted Jared Verse after trying to trade up all throughout the draft. They eventually stayed put at 19. They had Jared Verse fall into their lap, and he's somebody that I think starts day one. He's going to be 24 this year. So you have a close to veteran rookie as you get, more experienced rookie. Started out, his playing his college ball at UAlbany, which is 30 minutes away from my location that I'm recording this from. But 3-year starter, 2 years at FSU. He started 1 year at UAlbany. He was coached by Aaron Donald's former defensive line coach at Pitt, Greg Cattuso, who he still keeps in touch with. He actually mentioned that in a presser earlier that he talked to Aaron Donald, and I actually remember that because it was reported locally when Aaron Donald during COVID called up on Zoom the UAlbany football team. So really cool. First off, I have to say, for people wondering if I like this pick, I really like this pick. Just because I have a player ranked ahead of the guy that was taken does not mean I hate the guy that they chose. And I definitely have, if anything, I have a little bit of a bias towards Jared Verse because he's not local, right? But he played his college ball local. He started out at UAlbany and worked his way up to FSU and now to the NFL, and he's a first-round pick. It's a great thing to see. You love to see that. And he is very well liked around here. So there's going to be potentially more Rams fans tuning in. And not necessarily Rams fans, but Jared Verse fans. So let's talk about it. What is Jared Verse? Well, strengths-wise, he's an explosive edge defender. And I want to really make that clear. He is an edge defender, not an edge rusher. The reason I say that is because an edge defender is really doing multiple things. Is not just rushing the passer, can also set the edge, can stop the run. And that is something that Verse does well. But he sets the tone early. And the thing about him, the analogy I would give you is if you ever watch a boxing match and you see a guy going for a haymaker every time, but you see the guy that, seems like he's not doing much damage, but he's just seems lightly. He's punching the body. He's hitting those body blows. That is Jared Verse. He is hitting you in the body, and eventually you're going to break as an offensive lineman. The way he is he doesn't really run out of steam. He is constantly going at it. He is relentless as a pass rusher. He's a relentless player in general. He's, high motor, everything, right? But he wears down his assignment over the course of a game. And you watch that on film, and it is evident. So maybe in the first quarter, he's getting some nice bull rushes and things like that. And, he's catching the the offensive tackle off balance. But then the tackle, is able to hold his ground a little bit, right? Well, by the time the fourth quarter hits, Jared Verse is knocking you on your ass. He's sending you into the quarterback. He did that multiple times. I think he did that like once a game. That is the power that Jared Verse possesses. And the film is just so much fun. And man, I wanted to show you the film. I really did. But it's absolutely going to get copyright claimed, and I should probably know better. So it's really that simple. But Verse is built like a Greek god, okay? He's got a great body type. He is freaky athletic, ran in the 4.5s. I mean, that's faster than Myles Garrett. So, you talk about a guy who benched 31 reps on the bench press and, has 33-inch arms. He might not be 6'6" like everyone wants, but look, I told you this many times. The Rams do not care about size. They do not care. There are other more important avenues to addressing an evaluation than just size. So love what Verse brings to the table. His hand usage is great. And the thing about his hands is that because he has this power, his hands are heavy. They're like sledgehammers, and he knows how to use them. So, a lot of weight behind that. Like I mentioned, just blowing back his assignment, sometimes, forcing a sack by slamming him into his own quarterback. But he sheds blocks really well. This is somebody that's really hard to keep down consistently because he is relentless. He doesn't give up on any play. You'll watch him, a play, he's on the other side of the field and there's a ball carrier running to the other side of the field. He's still going to run. He might not sprint because it makes no sense. You got to conserve your energy, but he's still going to run. He still wants to be a part of every play, which you love to see. The motor's insane. The thing I really like is the quality sack production. I don't think sacks are everything. I've been very open about my thoughts on that. And that's why I went to bat for Chop Robinson. But having sacks isn't a bad thing either. And it's the consistency. 32 and a half sacks in 3 years as a starter and 1 year not as a starter, 4 years total. This is a guy that's a very high floor player. Okay, he comes in right away. He's got a different arsenal of moves. He's not as, so to speak, refined or crafty as Latu. He uses more power than just, manipulation, but he is really good. And the Rams got a day one starter who I think is going to be better than Byron Young. And that's what you want to see. Young is a very talented pass rusher. But with that said, you're taking a guy 19th overall in the first round. You're getting that fifth year option. You better hope he's your best edge defender. So that's that on him. But I think he's got a decently high ceiling still left to go. Okay, I'm not out on him there. I think he can win in multiple ways. Watching the film, especially Boston College tape, really stands out. Just has, he's got stutters. He's got a nasty bull rush. He's got a stab and a cross chop. Just makes it really hard, like when you're going up against him, to prepare. There's just not really a way to prepare for that. He doesn't have a predictable pass rush plan. He mixes up his pitches, if you will, and that's what you want to see. But the thing I really like about him, and this was actually brought up, I don't know if you guys saw, but Pat McAfee had a live stream that he was doing, and Bill Belichick raved about this guy. He has the versatility to play inside and outside, hand in the dirt, a standing pass rusher. He's really good enough to be relied in the running game, and he instantly becomes your best run defender of any of the edge defenders that you have. He's not just a pass rusher, but as far as leadership qualities go, he has them. He's disciplined. This isn't going to be somebody that's constantly getting hit, with penalties and so forth. The weaknesses with him, though, and there are some, he lacks elite bend, okay? And that might not be a weakness to you. And honestly, I feel like I'm being a little picky here, but it bothers people, okay? He has to win in different ways. He can't just run under a table like, say, Chop Robinson could or a Dallas Turner could. He doesn't have that bend. So that's something to keep in mind there. It does make his job a little bit more difficult. But the speed to power bull rush that he has, it doesn't really matter. So I'm really impressed with his game. He's ready-made. He'll start day one. No matter what you hear, he's starting day one across from Byron Young. He's going to be 24 as a rookie, as I previously mentioned earlier. That's a weakness. And he's too aggressive at times, and it's going to lead to missed tackles and sacks. Those are really the weaknesses that I see in his game. I mean, yeah, okay, he can refine his technique a little bit, but I mean, the sheer weakness is it. Those are what I'm talking about. So my final thoughts before I get into my grade for him, I think this is somebody, 21.2 pass rush win rate. He's 14th in pass rush productivity, only one penalty last year, 9th in pressures with 52, 21st in sacks, 26th overall, 7th pass rush grade according to PFF. This is somebody that is maybe never going to be the best in the league. Like, I don't know if you're going to get a Micah Parsons out of this, but he could end up being really good. Like, I kind of look at him like he's going to be somebody that gets 12 and a half sacks a season consistently, double digits. And he might have a year where he gets 16, but I think really he's going to have like a really rock steady type of pace, and you're going to be able to rely on him, consistently week in, week out. And I think it's big now because we'll see what the Rams do the rest of the draft, because they could add an interior pass rusher as well. But I think right now what the Rams just did, the way that they have attacked the offseason, including this draft pick, is that they've made it. So in a world where there's going to be a lot more passing, teams are going to take advantage of the fact defenses are at a disadvantage due to banning the hip drop tackle, just making it harder to play defense in this league. I think we're going to see a lot more, passing, and especially on third and long. And now I think the Rams, who have struggled on third and long, giving up the big play, I think this is actually going to be huge for them, because I think, the amount of force, the amount of power on that defensive line, and what they're pushing on the offensive line. I mean, we all saw week 1 of the season, Byron Young's bull rush that took Charles Cross completely out. That's what he can do. Now you add Jared Verse, who can do the same damn thing. And you have Kobe Turner and Bobby Brown, who can do the same damn thing. You got a lot of power up front. You also have a lot of athleticism. These are all guys that tested very well. So based on that, teams trying to throw on 3rd and 9 or 3rd and long, whatever, they are going to be met with guys in the backfield. This is going to be a much better 3rd down team this year. I don't care what anyone says. And look, it's not a knock on Donald, okay? This is because they have those guys, and they have the outside rush, and that's going to be key. And a lot of, they have a lot of different things they can do. Like I said, he can play inside, outside. So, you can move him inside, you can move him outside. He could play either or. And my thing is, he's around 250 pounds. I'm not trying to throw him against double teams, but he could play over a guard. I think he could play over a guard. So, I think they're going to have fun using him. I think, this is a great move for them. Chris Shula is going to have a weapon now on the defense. And, I mean, he already has some, because they went out and got Cam Curl and Tre'Davious White and Darius Williams. But Verse is kind of a different animal, because the Rams haven't had a first-round pass rusher since, I believe, Robert Quinn. So it's been a while since they've taken a pass rusher in the first round. This is a changing of the guard. This is a little different. This is almost like a passing of the torch. And I'm not saying Donald is passing the torch to Verse, which is kind of funny, because Verse was also coached by Donald's coach at Pitt. But it is fascinating to me, the direction the Rams have gone in, what they did last year in the draft, how they deviated away from the usual archetypes that they look for. Now, they still have those archetypes. They still have things they're interested in. But I like that they went after Verse, because this is not a team that has shown that they care as much as other teams about rushing the passer off the edge. They've gone after, these kind of, lower tier guys, good value, but lower tier. And this is them investing. And the big thing about drafting him now is you have the 5th-year option. So at a position that is incredibly expensive, I mean, we just saw 2 guys get $30 million a year in the offseason playing this position. That 5th-year option is going to be huge for the Rams. And they might even extend him before that. The only really annoying drawback is that he's going to be 24 and Byron Young's 26, so it's an older edge room. I would have loved if Verse was 21, I would have been so hyped. But it's not his fault, right? It's not his fault. He lost an entire year due to COVID because UAlbany had to cancel the season. And I mean, just let's call it like it is. I mean, he started at UAlbany. He transferred to FSU. He could have come out last year, probably would have gone as high as he went this year, stayed in school, which I love. And yeah. And I mean, guys, think about this. Who do the Rams love going after? They love going after guys who faced adversity. To me, Jared Verse has faced adversity. And we saw it last year. Byron Young working at a Circle K and, working at Dollar General, going from that to then going to Tennessee from JUCO, and then going to the Rams. And now we see it with Verse. And Verse going from UAlbany and, working Uber, to then, he ends up at FSU. And now here he is with the Rams. And I think it's awesome. I think it's great. I think, the vetting process, which, in the presser after the pick was made, after the draft was ended, of course, they don't do a presser right after the pick was made. But the presser was really interesting too, because, they were asking questions, of course, and McVay, said that Les has a really extensive vetting process. And I loved hearing that. And, some people might say that crosses off this guy or that guy, but the Rams they've been open to giving guys chances that have had some off the field concerns, since Les Snead took over. So that's worth talking about. We'll see what ends up happening in day 2, but Jared Verse, I'm going to give this an A. It's not an A+, but it's an A, and it's very close to an A+. Verse was my number 13th overall player in the draft. He was my second overall edge defender, and he went 19th. And he felt like somebody that I thought could fall, but the way the draft played out, I did not expect it. I did not expect him to go 19th. I thought the Bengals would have taken him. I thought the Jaguars were going to take him before they traded down. I was genuinely surprised to see him fall to 19 the way this draft panned out. And I got to give the Rams a lot of credit because they tried to trade up. They had different guys they liked. I know they liked, Brock Bowers. Everyone knows that, but they also, they liked Byron Murphy. And it's just like, to see them, come away with this by staying at 19, despite we all knew that they wanted to trade up. And hell, they probably considered trading down. When this guy fell into their lap, they took the best player available. And they took a guy that was one of the 3 guys that Les Snead mentioned that they really, really, really wanted to be Rams. So, in conclusion, you have every reason to go out and buy a Jared Verse jersey. You have every reason to feel good about this pick. I feel very good about this pick. I'm very happy about this pick. And I think it just continues on the vibes right now coming out of the Rams draft room and the draft house and just the Rams in general. They have nailed last year's draft, and now they just had a very safe pick at 19. I think this guy has very, very low bust potential. I think he's got a very high hit rate. At worst, he's going to be like a Chris Long. I think at best, the high upside, I think he could be when Joey Bosa's healthy, like, on that level, maybe better, because Joey Bosa, when he's healthy, is really, really, really good, but I could see him being better, I guess. So, yeah, I think, ceiling for him is a top 10 pass rusher in football. I think the floor for him starting out, he's going to be kind of around the Byron Young that we saw, probably 50 pressures, 60 pressures, maybe 8.5 to 10.5 sacks. But, I think like the high end ceiling to me is top 10 pass rusher. The middle ceiling, like most likely what he'll end up being is a top 25 edge defender. And that's great. That's a starting edge defender at the next level. That's great. So can't wait to see Jared Verse rushing the passer. I don't know what number he's going to wear. Could be 45, could be 5. I don't know. I don't know those things. I know people are already asking me. No idea. We'll find out soon. But I'm Jake Ellenbogen. If you enjoyed this, be sure to share this with somebody. If you like my videos, share them around. Word of mouth, man. It's been huge. So please do that. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment also, and follow me on all social media at JK Bogan. And one last thing before you go, we are doing a live stream. We did one day 1. All that content is up on the channel. Reaction video to Jared Verse, all that is up on the channel. Replay of it up on the channel. But we're doing day 2 and day 3. So tune in for day 2 tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern time. It's Alexis and I doing the Downtown Rams 6th annual live stream. We're doing the NFL draft day 2. And the Rams are slated to pick 3 times in day 2. We'll see if that turns into 4, 2, or even just 1. We'll find out. But until next time, guys, I'm Jake Ellenbogen. I'll see you guys later. Do you love talking about the Rams, the NFL, or just want to be a part of a community? Join my free Discord server today. We're over 800 members. We got 24/7 live chat, a level 3 boosted server, the ability to call into JE Live, playing online games with us on Kick streams, toggleable alerts for when I go live on YouTube or Kick so you don't miss a live stream, and exclusive giveaways. Click the link in the description, the comments section, or the link that comes up in the video to learn more and join today.